Without objection. The chair will recognize herself for 5 minutes. I have to say that I agree with my colleague from Georgia who was here a few minutes ago that this situation of none of you all or people in your agencies being willing to take responsibility for what's happened, either you're in denial or incompetent. I think the American people watching this are feeling the same way. I'm troubled by my colleagues wanting to distract from the incompetence of the FSA and the IRS on display here today. I want us to go after any bad actors outside the system, but our #1 priority is to protect the American people. And everybody who works in this country is affected by the IRS. So, yes, we want to protect students from any unsavory characters, but all Americans are affected by the IRS if they file their taxes, and most of them do. Thank goodness we have a system where most people voluntarily do what they're supposed to do. So the problem we have with our government agencies is there's no accountability for any of you individually, and that is a shame, a real shame on this country, that you all can ignore the continued incompetence and not be held responsible. I do have some questions. The department has taken some steps, Mr. Gray, Mr. Runcie, to mitigate the burdens on students, families, and institutions caused by the DRT suspension. But I'm concerned about the potential fraud the flexibilities you've put in place may cause. How is the department protecting against fraudulent income reporting or ensuring that no new doorways to fraud are open in this process? And I'd like specifics, please.
Well, in terms of, and thank you, Chairwoman Foxx, in terms of specifics, you know, as you know, the verification, the back-end verification is something that we've used along with, you know, the schools. So we do regression analysis and we come up with a formula that indicates a level of risk. And so what we've done in terms of giving flexibility is we would reduce the lowest risk element based upon a regression analysis so that even if we lessen the verification burden, it would be on a risk mitigated basis. So we would only eliminate the lowest risk applicants potentially. So the other part is that we're going to do this for a limited period of time, right? Because we're going to get the tool back up October 1st, and so for all the FAFSA cycles going forward, that won't be an issue. So it's somewhat of a temporary way to address to balance the burden to the schools against the risk to taxpayers.
Mr. Gray, do you have anything to add to that?
I would, yes, ma'am. I would say that there are also technical controls that we're looking at putting in place, and I would be happy to give a more in-depth details about those controls specifically, but I would not want to reveal sensitive information right here.
I understand. So, Mr. Runcie, you touched on this a minute ago, that you're trying to get the system back up for the 2018 FAFSA filing period. Recognizing the balance between security and access, can you make the commitment to ensure there's no opportunity for the DRT to be misused again when it is once again operational? And I want to ask each one of you, answer that question, yes or no. Mr. Runcie?
Yes, because the...
Yeah. That's all I need to know.
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Garza?
I'm unsure.
You're not sure. Mr. Corbin?
I'm also unsure.
Mr. Camus?
We will be watching closely.
I think you've given the American people great confidence today from the IRS when you tell us you cannot secure the system. Mr. Runcie, I want to come back to you. I've been hearing troubling reports regarding the collection of defaulted student loans, and we've been hearing a lot about that in here this morning. Currently struggling borrowers in default are without the critical services needed to rehabilitate their loans or access other benefits designed to lessen the impact of default. This is the responsibility of the department. Can I get a commitment from you and the department to provide my staff with critical information needed to assess the current loan default situation?
Absolutely.
And when?
2 weeks.
And when? Can we get, when will we know what the critical information is? When will you get that to us?
So we can define what the critical information is within 2 weeks, and we could get you the information within a month. So we'll have that to you within a month.
Thank you for telling us that. We will hold you to it.
Thank you.